Previously, we have discussed a sentence can be one word, sentence can be two words, three words, or sentence can be of many words. There is a novel written by one writer. I'm not remembering the name of that writer, but that entire novel is one sentence. So you can think of like a sentence can be entire novel. So there is a novel once written by a writer, and that entire novel is one sentence. So that's why it's very difficult to define a sentence, like what is a sentence actually. So syntax is a discipline. Syntax is a field of study. And in that field of study, the unit of analysis is sentence. The highest unit of analysis is sentence. And in syntax, we analyze sentence structure. And we have used the word scientific. Now, those who are from core sciences, physics, chemistry, mathematics, biology, then they have a different perception of science. But here we are not using the word science in that manner. So when we say syntax is the scientific study of sentence structure, that means we are talking about the scientific method of analyzing something, the scientific method of studying sentence structure. Hypothesis is a jargon. Jargon means technical term. Hypothesis is a technical term, and it is quite often used in research. In future, you will also become good academic researchers. This is my expectation. So hypothesis is a formal statement. Before you conduct a research, then you pose a hypothesis, you posit a hypothesis, you give a hypothesis, a formal statement about that research, that what am I going to do, this is my expectation. But the question arises that why we are discussing hypothesis here. We are discussing hypothesis here because we have used the word scientific study. Syntax is the scientific study of sentence structure. And as I said, that this science is not physics, this science is not mathematics, this science is not biology, this science is not chemistry, but this science is scientific method, and scientific method is part and parcel of a research. So that's why we are using this diagram, a bit about research, and I will tell you everything with the help of a sentence, that how we can have a scientific study of sentence structure as well. So this is a justification that why we are doing what we are doing. So there are certain words: posit, oblique, revise hypothesis, that is one thing. Then data observation and testing hypothesis, that is another thing. Generalization about the data. Data can be anything. You have 10 sentences, that sentence will become a data. One of my students previously worked on a topic titled the WhatsApp language used by the students of Shri Mata Vaishno Devi University. WhatsApp messages and the language of WhatsApp messages. I expect that all of you are the part of WhatsApp group. All of you are using WhatsApp languages. And why I said languages, because the way you write WhatsApp messages is not similar. It is not same, but similar. So if someone wants to conduct a research on such topic, WhatsApp language of the students of Shri Mata Vaishno Devi University, then the researcher needs some hypothesis, some formal statement. So what type of formal statement can be for this situation? The language of WhatsApp messages used by students of Shri Mata Vaishno Devi University. Hypothesis will be, first hypothesis will be, hypothesis is a formal statement that is to be tested, that is to be falsified, that is to be modified, that is to be revised also. So what type of statement? I want to do a research on this topic. What type of statement I will make? I will make this type of statement, that the language of WhatsApp is different from the language we use in different spheres of life. Very commonsensical. There is no problem in that understanding. That means the language that you use for WhatsApp is not the language you use in email. The language you use in WhatsApp is not the language you will use when you are writing your answers. The language you use in WhatsApp is not the language that you will use when you converse with your friend. So you will not talk about before and you say you like before, and your friend will understand that, oh, this is person is saying before. So what is this? I have posited a hypothesis. I have given a hypothesis. Now I need to check this hypothesis is correct or not, that the language of WhatsApp is different, though it is very commonsensical that the language of WhatsApp is different from the language of the language that we use in other spheres of life. So it is to be tested. There is a possibility that I will find, or I might find, one student who is also typing WhatsApp messages very formally. Each word correct, comma, full stop, everything is perfect. There is a possibility. So for that possibility, it may happen, it may not happen. I need to observe data. That means who will become my subject? The students. I will talk to them. Okay, I have this noble idea that I want to do a research, I want to conduct a research, and for that I need your help. And students and people generally, they are helpful in nature. So they will say, okay, I will give you some of the screenshots of my WhatsApp messages which are not very personal to me. Fine. So I have like 100, 200 snapshots of those WhatsApp messages. So that will become my data and observation. I'm observing that data. Now, what I can find, I will test my hypothesis, and there is a possibility that I may find that girls are using more abbreviation than boys. Fine. So then I need to revise my hypothesis. So first hypothesis like is the language of WhatsApp is different from the ordinary language. At the same time, girls, they use more abbreviations, more shortening form, or they are more creative in using language than boys. There is a possibility. Or so that data, after observing that data, after observing those 200, 250 snapshots, I have come to this conclusion. I have come to this thing. So I will make a generalization about the data. Fine. Generalization means like, okay, 150 students are using abbreviations. Fine. 50 students, they are not using that abbreviation. They are quite formal. And then I will revise my hypothesis. So what do you think about this entire process? This entire process is scientific. This entire process is foolproof.